Hello, friends. We're here with part 2 of how to make more money in your service business, like right now, this summer, this week. And if you missed last week's episode, go listen to that too, but you can totally listen to these in any order. But that episode contains 4 more ways in addition to the 4 I'm sharing with you today. Again, you can listen in any order though. And all of these ways are not too basic, stuff you may not be thinking of. They are not reinventing the wheel or going to cause you tons and tons of work. They're not changing your business model, and they don't involve adding a shop or trying to create passive income. These are like the less obvious ways, I'd say, to add more revenue to your service business with what you're doing right now. So here we go. I'm building on the 4 from episode 274 and adding 4 more for you. And I said this last week, but these episodes originally aired as 155 and 156 on the Breakthrough Brand podcast, which was a while ago, obviously. And so you may have never heard them because that's the nature of having such a large catalog of podcast content, is that like people arrive at your show at whichever point they do. And often you don't go back through all the old episodes. I know some of you do though. You told me that like, hey, you got hooked and then you went back to like those super early episodes. But I want you guys to hear this one because it is really good content that's still relevant and will help you make more money in your business. But as I'm talking real quick, I just thought of this. I don't even have it in my notes, but like if you are someone who's newer to the show, which welcome, by the way, I'm so glad you're here. But if you're newer, don't hesitate to go back to like, episode 20, episode 50, episode 100, like go back to those older episodes and download the ones that you're like, oh, that sounds helpful. Oh, that one, that sounds interesting. Download them and just listen to them as you have time, because just because it's not the latest episode coming out does not mean it's not still relevant or still going to like super, super help you in your business. So just want to encourage that. Before we get to the episode, I want to also say that when I originally recorded this back when it was 156, I was pulling content from my amazing course, Book.Designer, in order to make this episode, like literally looking at like, okay, what are some of the things I'm teaching in the course? Let's talk about some of it here. Less extensively, of course, it's like a 20-minute podcast episode, but I teach all this stuff extensively in Book.Designer. I coach my students on this stuff. We talk about it in the Facebook group. So if you are a designer, specifically a brand or website designer, and you are looking to really build a sustainable money-making business on your terms that looks like you want it to as a designer, how to book clients, how to manage the finances, how to like run projects, do discovery calls, market yourself, all of that kind of stuff. It's a big course that's going to help you and guide you through all of that. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, come join me in the course. It is open for enrollment. I've had, over 200, might be closer to 250 at this point, students go through Book.Designer who just absolutely love it. And I think you will too. So I'd love to welcome you into that if it sounds like a good fit for you. And you can get the info in the show notes or at elizabethmccravey.com/BOD. So that is it. Hope you enjoyed this recast. Now let's play the episode. Hey guys, I'm Elizabeth McCravey, an online educator for entrepreneurs, website designer, wife, boy mom, and your host for the Breakthrough Brand podcast, the show that's all about pulling back the curtain on how to actually build a successful business. I don't skim the surface around here. If you want to dive deep into the nitty-gritty details of what it takes to run a sustainable business that fits your unique lifestyle while standing out in a crowd, then you are in the right place. I created a multiple 6-figure a year business in my early 20s, and now in my 30s, I'm still running that successful multiple 6-figure a year business on just part-time hours now as a working mom. I'm here to share everything I've learned and everything I'm still learning because I believe that the keys to building a thriving business should never be a secret. Here you'll find episodes that are actionable, direct, and fun, like friends chatting business over coffee, and a fresh, honest take on the reality of being an entrepreneur. If you're ready to master online marketing, website design, personal branding, mindset, time management as a busy parent, scalable and passive income, and business strategy, then this is the podcast for you. It's time to build your breakthrough brand. Let's do this. All right, so I said let's go to number 1, but really this is number 5. So I'm going to count starting off from like we shared 4 in the last episode. Now we're on to number 5 on this one. So number 5, update the pricing on your website. So of all of these 8 tips I'm sharing between the 2 episodes, this is the most basic and obvious one of them all, but I can't have this episode topic without saying this basically. So this one is to raise your prices, and raising your prices and it working is going to equal making more money. Yet, not enough people do this. So we often have hangups about whether or not we're worth the extra money, or we don't feel good enough to be charging as much as so-and-so, or we might feel like if we raise our prices then no one's going to book anymore. There's a lot of fear that happens with this that keeps us from doing it, or even just distraction sometimes. Like maybe you're just so in the thick of running your business that you have not edited your website in a year and it still says your old pricing. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, I've just kind of been doing my thing, booking clients at this rate, and you just never edit it, right? So my advice is just to try it. Just try raising your prices and know you can always go back if you are not getting any bites. You don't have to raise them and then like keep it there forever. I think sometimes we see this as like a way more monumental change than it has to be. Yes, for something like a shop, changing your prices is a bigger deal. But if you are a copywriter and you have a signature package and you go on your website and raise it by like $300 and a month goes by and your leads have significantly decreased and your bookings have decreased, you can go back and change it. Take that $300 off and bring it back to where it was. It doesn't have to be a huge deal. So I have a specific method for like how you reveal and how you share your pricing that I teach in Book.Designer. So I'm not going to get into all that, but that does kind of relate to this tip and how easy it can be to just like change up your pricing. But basically, you can show your initial estimated price in a variety of ways, whatever way works for you. But that is like the first touch point for your clients, right? So it might be that initial pricing or price range is on your website. It might be that it is in a brochure type thing that you're sending clients, or you tell them on the discovery call, whatever it is. Change that number. Change it by a small percentage, change it by $200, $300, whatever feels comfortable to you, and just try it and go back if your leads totally dry up. And something too with this, knowing if leads are drying up, though, means you need to pay attention to where leads are coming from and how many you are getting to begin with. So like we could change our prices and all of a sudden we feel like, oh my gosh, no one's reaching out to me. But in reality, you're only typically getting, a few leads a week, let's say, but all of a sudden you feel like it's way bigger dip than it actually is. So you need to know your numbers a little bit here. Not super detailed. I don't think it's something to obsess over, but you need to have an idea so that you have something to compare to when your prices do go up, to actually see, okay, am I truly getting less inquiries? Am I truly getting less bookings? Or am I just like kind of paranoid because I made this change? But yeah, this first one, number 5, is one that is a little more basic, but don't skip it. It's worth checking into. Okay, number 6, track where your leads are coming from, especially leads that book, and do more of that. So I told you I'm not teaching ways to reinvent the wheel in these 2 episodes, and this is a great way to not only not reinvent the wheel, but also to simplify your marketing. Turn what is working into like more stuff you're doing and stop on the stuff that's not working. It's really helpful. So know where your leads are finding you from. Is it Instagram? Is it a Facebook ad? Is it a referral from a specific person? Is it a Google search query? Is it from a Facebook group post, a hashtag you're using on Instagram, maybe a TikTok you did, like whatever it is? Ask the question on your contact form, where did you find me? Ask people to get specific with it. It's so funny. I have people all the time in my contact form. It says like, where did you find me? Please be specific. And people will put the internet. And I'm like, of course you found me on the internet. What does that even mean? I think a lot of times they mean Google search when they say that. But, ask people to get specific. And then look at the data among people who are answering on your contact form that question, and like actually look at the people who were really great leads and be like, okay, where did they find me? Look at the people who were leads that booked and ask, where did they find me? Run some numbers on what's working and not working. So like, for example, maybe right now you're spending all of your energy on TikTok making those, or maybe you're spending so much time on Instagram trying to create reels, and yet when you look at the data, there's no one booking from TikTok. Or maybe you're over here feeling like Pinterest is not worth it, I should just give up. But then when you look at the data, you realize that 2 of your favorite clients from the past few months found you from a pin. Or this is something that's always so good to pay attention to, but maybe there's a past client of yours who's constantly referring you, and you get tons of leads from them. Make sure you're staying connected to them. Maybe send them a thank you note and just tell them like, oh my gosh, I'm getting this client from you. Thank you. So basically, you want to do more of what's already working with your marketing, invest more time, energy, and money into that. And then you can watch more clients come in with less effort on your part, because by doing this, you can kind of ditch what's not working. So if you, let's say maybe you're trying a YouTube channel in addition to your podcast and you realize, okay, no one's even watching these, no one's booking from this, you get rid of it. It can really help you simplify things and not only make more money, but get more time back. All right, number 7. I really love this one. So start doing more education, more blogging on your own website, more posting on social media content that's going to help your ideal clients find you and want to work with you. Being a guest on podcasts. Maybe it's even starting your own podcast or your own YouTube channel or some sort of content creation area. Doing this puts you in the driver's seat as an expert, which will help you book more clients in your service business. And it can also bring more clients your way through there just being another channel for people to find you. So for example, being a guest on a podcast means new people discovering you and what you do that might not have before. Like you're basically having that host is taking their audience and saying, look at this person, look at what they're doing. They're going to teach you this stuff. Now, maybe they want to work with you after that. So that opens up so many new opportunities for your business. Social media posts with the right hashtag found by someone looking to hire someone like you is a great way to get more clients. It can open a lot of doors. This is a huge one, but having a blog post show up on Google or found on Pinterest easily that really helps you book more clients. Maybe it's a super great like lead gen type blog post that can be really helpful, and that's content creation. And outside of the lead generation perks of more content creation, being someone who creates educational content for your ideal client is going to help you with easier bookings, likely be able to charge a higher price point, and then also just having more people knocking on your door to get your services. Because again, guys, they're benefiting from the free content, which then will make them say like, okay, wow, this girl, her blog post, man, it really helped me understand my SEO problem. I wonder how much better working with her for paid work will be when that blog post helps so much, right? It just really, really helps in this way. And then in addition to this, I'm talking about all the ways this helps you make more money, but at least for me, creating content is so fun. It's seriously one of my favorite things I do in my business. And I'm sure many of you guys who create content can relate to that as well. But it's fun. It challenges your mind in a different way. And I think it helps you be a better service provider when you're thinking about what are my ideal clients' problems and how can I help them solve it through something outside of the paid way to work with me. It's an interesting perspective and way to think about things that's really helpful. So that is number 7. Start doing more education, whatever that looks like for you, whatever type of education draws you in and sounds fun. Okay, and the last one, I've really flown through these more than I did on the first episode. But the last one, this is number 8. And guys, we might have to do a part 3 of this because I actually had 3 more I thought of that I cut to kind of keep this simpler. But I really like this one. This is another kind of hidden gem one I feel like we don't think about enough. Pursue working with past clients on new projects. So the easiest new client to get is someone who is already a client. When we think about things like customer acquisition, the easiest customer is someone who has already been a customer before. That's the principle we often hear about shops and larger retailers talking about is lifetime customer value. And that applies to our service business. So I'm going to use an example here of books just to try to, this made sense in my head, so hopefully it makes sense to you guys. But thinking about books as an example. So for me, an author I really love is Leanne Moriarty. I hope I'm saying her last name right. She's the author of Big Little Lies, The Husband's Secret, Truly Madly Guilty. That's another one's really good. She writes really awesome books though. So let's say though, I pick up her book, Big Little Lies, after hearing about the HBO show. I read it. I love it. I'm a fan. But let's say that's her only book. That's her only work so far. That's the only thing she's created out there is this one book, Big Little Lies. Then after I've bought that book, I have basically maxed out what I can spend with her outside of buying a book for my friend or something like that. Maybe she creates a new way for me to spend with her by going on a book tour and doing a book signing in Nashville, and then I can go to that. But there's if it's just the one book, then after I bought the book, I am maxed out on ways I can spend with her. Now, let's say she has more books, which is true. She actually has a lot of books. Then all of a sudden there are 5 or however many other like quote unquote events that I can spend with her on, other opportunities to spend. I can buy her next book, and then I can go to the book signing, and then, maybe I watch the book that gets adapted into a movie, whatever it is. It's all these different opportunities, but basically giving me, as someone who said I'm a fan, who raised my hand and said I like this, more opportunities to spend. So the easiest person for an author to get to buy their new book is someone who bought their last book and liked it. That's much easier than going out and finding new fans and new customers. And like I said, just use an author, a book as an example here. I've been on a reading kick lately, so it's really on my mind. But this is true of your online business too. The easiest person to book is someone who has already booked with you and had a good experience. So my question for you here, as you think about this one, what could you offer past customers to bring them back into the sphere of working with you? And I said I wasn't going to talk about adding new services here, but maybe it is a new service, or maybe it's like a service you already have, but it's one that they'll need over and over again. So like, for example, if you're an accountant, if your 2020 tax client had a good experience, then they're going to come back right now for 2021 taxes. And that is a easy new client booking that is much easier than going out there and acquiring a bunch of new customers for this new tax season. Like, hopefully you acquire some new ones, but the easiest, like low-hanging fruit customer is the person who was with you the year before. If you're a coach, if your 3-month coaching client had a ton of wins and breakthroughs, they are now the easiest person to sell on the next 3 months of coaching, on selling to continue coaching versus going out and finding a new lead from scratch. For designers like myself, say your client had a great experience with you on their website design, but now they have a new offer and they need another sales page. They are the easiest client to book for that. And with that, like thinking about designers specifically, like that might technically feel like a new service, but it's just continuing the website design. So it might be that like on your website, you're not advertising that you do sales pages, but when you have a past client come back to you and say, hey, I need a sales page, or hey, I need edits to this page on my website, you help with that and charge for it. That's definitely how I've kind of done sales pages and stuff in my own business. I don't like advertise that I do it, but I do work on those for past clients. So basically, don't overlook the people who have already paid you and consider that maybe they'd like to pay you again for something else or even the same thing if you just gave them the opportunity to do so. I think this is seriously such a huge one that I actually need the reminder of myself as someone who has a shop and who also does services of like, don't overlook this. This is something the person who's already bought is ready to buy again. If you create something that they really want, they're there to work with you again. And if you're not sure what past clients would like from you, if you're like, oh, I really like this one, but like, I don't know what else I could offer, ask some of them. Maybe you have a past client that you have a really good relationship with. Y'all chat on Instagram sometimes. Maybe ask like, hey, I know I worked on copywriting for you for your website last year. What other copywriting needs do you run into now that you've had your business for a year? Ask them something like that and see what comes up. So that is it, friends. 4 more ways to make money in your service business. And if you missed the episode before this one, scroll back to it a little bit, give that a listen to for 4 more ways. And if you want help with this sort of stuff, if you want to make more money, book more ideal clients, raise your prices, learn how to create great educational content like we were talking about, learning how to get on podcasts like I mentioned, all of this kind of stuff, join Booked Out Designer. The doors are open right now, and I would love to welcome you into our community. And I know the other designers in there, some of them who are probably listening to me right now, would also love to welcome you in. The course is specifically for brand designers, web designers, stationery designers, and other types of designers like calligraphy or designers with digital shops. It's for designers, right? That's basically what I'm saying here. And in it, I teach you how to build an in-demand design business on your terms, how to network to book clients, how to price your offers, how to run client projects from start to finish, some stuff about like the legal and financial side of things like contracts, how to do sales calls is a huge part of the course. There's so much goodness. And in addition to the course, which is 9 modules with over 90 lessons in it, I also have coaching with me every other month, group coaching calls on Zoom, and every other month in between group mindset coaching calls with a certified life coach. So you get the course, course, and then you get this awesome support through coaching and the awesome Facebook community. It's seriously such a high value offer. It makes me so excited, even just thinking and talking about it, like how awesome everything students are getting is. And so I want to read to you, I did this on the last episode, I'm going to do it again. These ones are a little shorter than I read in the last episode, but I want to read you 3 things that some of our past students have said about the course. Then we'll give you a little more info, and then we're going to close this one out. So this is from Tori. She said, Book.Designer has allowed me to confidently say I'm a website designer without hesitation anymore. I've always seen it as a hobby and side passion, but now I have the tools, processes, workflows, and essentially the full roadmap to make it a legitimate business. So if you feel like Tori, feeling like your business is a hobby right now, a side thing, and you want to feel like it can be more full-time, Book.Designer is going to help with that. Jenna says, Book.Designer is like having a seasoned mentor holding your hand through every aspect of running a design business. And then Jackie says, Elizabeth has seriously thought of every angle of running a design business, and it shows. I'm so grateful I found this course. It has been worth every penny. So a few little thoughts from some past clients there. And you can read more on the info page about Book.Designer. I'm going to link to that in the show notes. And if you have questions about it, email me, message me on Instagram. I'd love to talk to you. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed our doubling up episodes this week, and then go check out Book.Designer if that interests you. And I'll be back next time with another fun topic to help you grow your business. All right, bye guys. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast today and for staying until the end. I appreciate you being here. And if you enjoyed this episode, then I want to invite you to check out my online course and coaching program for designers, Book.Designer. In this program, I teach you how to build a successful in-demand, booked-out business as a designer. You'll learn everything from the exact experience I take my clients through to things like figuring out your niche, mastering discovery calls, pricing your services for profit, creating contracts that will not cause you legal troubles, and my exact social media strategies to book clients. You even get to watch recordings of me in actual meetings with my actual clients so you can really learn through what you're seeing. We take things you're learning on this podcast and so many topics I never even cover on this show and deep dive into them. So in addition to the amazing course, the course is 9 modules of teaching with over 90 lessons. You get group coaching calls with me and access to an exclusive Facebook community of designers just like you. And fun fact, this isn't one of those kind of Facebook groups where the founder never comments on posts or you never see them in there. You'll find me there all the time, ready to help you out with any business question you have. So to get info on the course and to see when the doors will be opening again, head to elizabethmccravey.com/BOD, short for Book.Designer. I hope to be able to coach you and teach you inside of the course soon. And don't forget that you can subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening so that you never miss an episode. And a great way to support the show is to leave a rating and review, share it with a friend, share it on social media. All of that will help get the word out. All right, I'll see you again next week.